Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mama's Legacy podcast. I'm joined here by one of the Take Side creators, Rolo. How you doing, Rolo?
Oh, I'm doing great, Max. Great to be here. Excited to be part of Legacy Mambas podcast once again.
Always love having you on, man. And I'm joined here with my producer, Cam. What's up, Cam?
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into the pod.
So we'll start off on the low note because everybody loves the Lakers around here. We lost 115 to 85. And the Lakers, in the first four games, are shooting under 30% on 127 attempts from the three ball. And this is the worst shooting I think I've seen from this Lakers team in a while. Do you think they can turn it around for game six and potentially game seven? Rolo, will swing it over to you.
I mean, you can't doubt LeBron. I mean, it's round one. When's the last time this guy's gone out of the playoffs round one? I mean, I take it back to like his rookie season on the Cavs. And I mean, this dude's a force. He's 36 years old, and Braun's not getting tired anytime soon. I mean, last game, it just seemed like he's hurting without AD. And if AD comes back, Data Davis comes back, he's he's gonna be quite the contributor in the Lakers 3-2 or no 3-3, right? Would it be game six?
Yeah, it'll be game six when he comes back.
Yeah, it would push to game seven. I'm pretty confident.
Definitely. Cam, do you think the Lakers can turn this shooting struggle around?
Possibly. I feel like that we can't doubt LeBron at all, and I wouldn't put this on him, but the spirit of the Lakers is just so different from previous years, specifically last year. They really are not putting their heart into it. And looking at the Suns, they just look so hungry. And I feel like if LeBron, the biggest impact he can make on this team is, of course, scoring more would be helpful. But I think he needs to go out there and tell these guys to straighten up, be a leader, and he needs to get that fighting spirit in them because they don't have it right now, especially if you're getting blown out. I don't care how bad you are, you shouldn't be getting blown out like that.
Especially with not Anthony Davis, Chris Paul missing a lot of that game. But allow me to rant real quick. This Lakers team is absolutely atrocious to watch right now. Streetwear Davis can't stay healthy for 5 minutes, so I don't know why we gave him 5 years. This LeBron, he's the only guy out there playing with heart. And even last night was the first time I've seen LeBron really quit on his team. We'll get more into that in like 2 seconds. But we let so many Energizer guys go, and now we're not playing the Energizer guys. Dwight Howard, gone, loved his energy. JaVale McGee, gone, loved his energy. Rondo, great playoff leader, gone, loved his energy. And now we have the only real big energy guy we have on this team is Montrezl Harrell. And where was he last night? We weren't playing him. We haven't been playing this series, and it's really starting to frustrate me. I love Frank Vogel. I think he's a great defensive coach, but right now he's wetting the bed. Now, right back to what I said about LeBron quitting. He left to the locker room with 5 minutes left in the game. Who does that? I mean, it for the first time in like watching my Lakers and LeBron. I looked up at the TV and I said, he's quit on us. It's disgusting. Uh, but I will not put 100% on him. None of the guys on this team are confident shooting. They're giving up wide open shots to give it to LeBron to take a contested shot. KCP is not taking the shots he needs to take, and this team looks dead in the water. I mean, do you guys have any comments for that?
Yeah, 100%. If I can come in here, I mean, you talked about Frank Vogel, like just being that defensive minded coach and being great at it. And the Lakers have been solid all season. And I really thought that we would see this series, like how much the players have actually developed without LeBron James. That, hey, LeBron James is still the leader of this team, but they've got, I mean, look at their whole roster. I mean, they can compete with the Suns. I mean, we go to the first game of the season and we've got Monty Williams coaching a group of really unproven stars, and then fading Chris Paul, and now you see them balling on basically every level. I mean, off the bench, the mentality of the Suns is just the complete opposite of what the Lakers have coming off the bench, and frankly, I completely agree with you on that Montrezl Harrell point. I mean, they brought Marc Gasol on, and he's just been so inconsistent defending the paint. He's gotten ate up by Aiden, and obviously Drummond is just not performing like his career and his pedigree.
Definitely agree with everything you just said
Mhm.
there. This Lakers team they look like they've been hit on the head and they got a concussion. Cam, would you like to say anything about this terrible Lakers team right now?
Sure. So one thing I noticed is I don't think, as much as Braun fans or Lakers fans probably don't want to admit it, I don't think LeBron can totally carry a team on his back anymore. Like we saw him do with some of those terrible Cavs teams. He really was able to turn that around and take over. But I don't think he can do that anymore. I mean, of course, time is going to get the best of him. And I'm not saying that he's done by any means, but he really needs good guys around him. And without Davis there, this team is, I mean, those two guys were the team. Other than that, I mean, of course, you have some good guys in there, but when Davis went out, you really saw how if he can't stay healthy, this team, they are not going to go far anyways. And I feel like if Davis, he may not stay healthy in the next round. I mean, if you look back at his injury report from the beginning of the season, it's everything from a Achilles to a groin to a calf to a toe. So I wouldn't put trust in Davis. So this team, I mean, for this season, I'm going to have to go with they're not going to win the finals for sure. And I don't even think they're going to go there. I mean, they might not even get out of this first round, but I don't even think they'll get out of the second if they do beat the Suns.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting out this first round. This is going to be LeBron's first round exit, and it is hard to watch. But on a brighter note, everybody loves Dame. Dame Dalla, the clutchest player in the NBA. 55 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks, a steal, and he hit 12 long bombs. He forced double overtime, but they still fell short. I mean, you obviously can't hold this on Dame, but this Portland team, do you think Dame needs to get out of there if he wants to win a championship by the end of his career? Cam, we'll start with you.
Okay, so I would love to see Dame out of Portland. I mean, the guys around him last night, especially, they really failed him. Like, that's why I would say Dame was the best player in that game for sure. I mean, you could argue Jokic on the other end of things because he was extremely solid, but he had help around him. Dame, the other guys didn't even score 20. No one did. And I mean, that's awful. You saw McCollum stepping out of bounds at a crucial moment in the game. You saw Covington, a veteran, miss a dunk that could have put it away possibly. So you just see the people around him, they really failed him. So I think he might need to get out of there if he wants to win a championship.
I mean, I agree with that. Rolo, where do you see Dame going from here? Do you see him re-signing and staying with this team, or do you see him wanting out of there? And if so, you see him getting out of there, where do you think he'll go?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where Damian Lillard fits best. I mean, it's just a different league than it was just a few years ago. I mean, Dame seemed like he really had a chance. CJ McCollum and him and we're both dominating at a pretty solid level in the East. I'd say, I don't know, 5 or so years ago, and it was just clear Damian Lillard developed a lot more than CJ. I mean, they were both budding stars, and I knew. I mean, I'm gonna pull up this quick quote from Dame because I think this is what everyone respects about him. But he says, "I'm loyal to Portland. I want to play my whole career here, but at any moment they can decide we want somebody else." So it's interesting. I mean, the Blazers organization, they've gone through several coaching changes, and actually a kid I went to school with, he's the assistant coach. His dad played in like Europe, and then ended up getting signed as the assistant coach there. Fun fact. But yeah, no, they're clearly lost. And I'm not sure what Dame needs to do, but he's got to get freed. and he's got to go to. I'm not sure who needs the point guard the most, but I think Miami could use someone like that. What do you think, Max?
Well, I think Miami could use anything at this moment. They got swept by the Bucks, team that they beat a year ago, and this Heat roster is basically the same from a year ago. No really big changes. If anything, a lot of players got better than they did last year. But I'll stop hating on the Heat for 5 seconds. Damian Lillard needs to get out of there. I don't think he will. So I believe Portland needs to blow this up. Trade Nurkic. You need to trade Powell. You play 51 minutes in a clutch playoff game to get an elimination game, next game to win. You drop 13 points in 51 minutes, Covington 19 points in 44 minutes. I mean, it's really hard to watch. I mean, CJ, 18 points in 51 minutes. Carmelo, 8 points in 30 minutes. This team would not score unless it was Dame. Dame was the one scoring. He carried the team. He's been carrying this team, and he needs a little bit of help carrying. I think
Yeah.
CJ, I don't think CJ is the guy. I think CJ is a great player. I think he's a great second guard to have on a team. I don't think he's the guy for Dame. Nurkic, I'm not a big hater of him, but I do think he needs to go. I think that everybody on this roster but Dame should be touchable. I think that should be what it is.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be tough to move a couple of those veterans. I mean, like Melo, like Inez Cantor, like Hollis Jefferson. I mean, those guys are performing as bad or as bad as like someone like Anthony Simmons, who I thought was really going to take off this season and prove his worth in the playoffs, but he's just completely dropped an egg. I mean, he's been just as bad as Covington and CJ, and that's why that's sort of the dynamic that has been plaguing Portland. Like, you need guys that are hungry off the bench. The Suns are definitely, like, you've got campaign competing for playing time with starters. No one's pushing a starter. No one's pushing anyone on the starting five out of the starting five on the Blazers. And for me, that's like the telltale sign of a not non-competitive team. I mean, they're just a dull instrument in the playoffs.
Yeah, they just look like they're, hey, I'm happy to make the playoffs. That's about it. They don't have the hunger that they need to win a championship. Dame's the only one out there, and we see it nearly every game of the playoffs, but we also see the rest of the team wet the bed. Now, I think this is going to be the series of the playoffs. I think it's going to be the best one there is. Nets and Bucks. I think the Nets have the best defensive matchups for this Nets team, but this Nets team, the big three, I haven't seen quite as much offensive firepower ever compared to these three guys put together. But those three, they have not played every game together, and they've played very little together. Do you think the Bucks can stop the Nets here and pull off the upset? Rolo, what do you think?
I mean, obviously after just seeing the Brooklyn Nets do that to Boston in our TD Garden, I mean, after all the turmoil, I mean, what a dramatic series. I think the Brooklyn Nets are going to go all the way, unfortunately. And I mean, we haven't seen KD's, or it hasn't been proven yet that this is KD's best trio, but I absolutely think this is. I think Kyrie and James Harden, when it's all said and done in Brooklyn, they're going to be better than KD's Splash Bros. That's my take on it, and I think that they're unstoppable in terms of their scoring power and when they can score at will. You can just see it. KD's just unfazed. I mean, it won't matter what happens in the Fizzer for him. Almost said Pfizer for him. But yeah, no, I think the Nets are going to do their best to stop Giannis, but it's definitely going to come down to that matchup between like Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, and I mean, you go matchup to matchup, and it's Nets for me.
I'm gonna beg to differ, and you're not gonna like this take. I have the Bucks in 6, but Cam, what are your 2 cents on this Bucks versus Nets series?
I'm totally gonna disagree here with Rolo. I think that the Bucks are gonna win this series, agreeing with you, Max. I think it's gonna be a very good series, gonna go 7 games. But you always hear that phrase, defense wins championships. And I feel like that might be the case. Now, this offense the Nets have is something never seen before. But I think that the Bucks are just a better, well-rounded team. And who will stop Giannis is my question. He's going to get the points he needs. I think the series will come down to performances from people like Drew Holiday. He was an amazing pickup because he can get stops as well as get scoring, which they need. Middleton, he has to step up, and they both need to be very, very supportive of Giannis in this case. But with the Bucks, I just feel like they can do it. And on paper, you might say the Nets, they're the better guys. Those three are obviously better. But in this series, I think the Bucks are gonna get that upset and surprise us.
I agree with that, but I think it's going to actually come down. So with Giannis, let's all be honest. I think we can all agree that you need a second body to guard Giannis, which is probably going to be one of their big men, right?
DeAndre and KD likely.
Exactly. So you have to do that. Brook Lopez, we're forgetting that he's a good 3-point shooter. Brook Lopez will eat up out there. And then you coming off the bench, you got Bryn Forbes, who outscored Jimmy Butler last
Yeah,
series.
that dude's Steph Curry. That is not Bryn Forbes out there. That is Steph Curry playing in disguise.
Will you do that again though? I don't know about that.
I mean, he did it to the Heat, who have one of the best defenses in the league. You think he'll do it to arguably the worst defense in the
Oh,
league?
they look good. They looked real good.
And you got Portis. Portis is a big man that can shoot the 3 ball really well. This Bucks team, if they focus in on Giannis, that bench is going to eat up. Now, Vincenzo, I probably butchered that. He is injured. I don't think he'll be playing the first couple games. But even then, this Bucks team is a lot deeper than this Nets team. I mean, I love Blake Griffin coming off.
No.
I love some of the guys coming off, but this Bucks team, they all play like they'll have the second unit in and they look like a starting unit sometimes. So I'm not too sure on if the Nets defense, which they don't have much of one, can really stop the starting 5 from the Bucks, let alone the second guys that come in and eat up.
Yeah, I think that the Nets are villains. So I actually hate supporting them. But the fact that their bench is not as good as the Bucks, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you see that starting 5 sort of, or like that second starting 5 of each group, and it's like it's tough. It's tough to decide, and I think it is going to take performances like what Bryn Forbes, like who's the X factor here for you guys? Like who's going to be that guy that steps up? And I feel like the Nets have huge X factors on their bench, and then that superstar scoring power of Giannis in all 3 of Kyrie, Harden, and Durant. I mean, I saw it against Boston. It's dangerous. I checked my phone once and it was a 25-3 scoring run.
Well, you're not going to like this. I mean, if you drop a game to Boston, you're dropping 4 to the Bucks.
4 to the Bucks.
If you drop 1 game to the Boston Celtics, who don't even have Jaylen Brown, you're going to lose to the Bucks. Kemba.
They're missing Kemba too.
No. Oh, okay, they were missing Kemba, but I mean, was that really a bad thing? I could go play better defense than Kemba.
Oh, don't disrespect Kemba now. He is a
liability on defense.
He is class.
No, I think he's a great scorer, but if he's not hitting shots, he's a liability on the court because he can't play defense.
Yeah, but he dropped 30. I mean, before he got injured. I mean,
I think Kemba's a great player. Bits. I think he's a great player, but you need defense for playing these Nets. You're not gonna outscore them.
So valuable. I really would have liked to see the Boston versus with Jaylen Brown versus the Nets. I think that would have been a lot better of sort of a test of these Nets. I mean, this is like one of the first times Harden, Kyrie and Durant were all playing together, and they basically just got a scrimmage series. I mean, that gives them a lot of confidence um going into Bucks versus Nets. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. June 4th, we're tipping off.
Oh, I'm gonna be in Denver for that, and I was supposed to stay away from the podcast stuff. I will be watching that series. Oh,
I hate how with
oh,
the East, the bottom seeds are so bad that you really can't judge the top seeds how they're gonna do in the against each other because the bottom seeds that's just like Rolo was saying, just like scrimmages. It's bad over in the East with the seeds.
what do you mean? Wizards in 7.
Yeah, totally.
I like to have a little bit
Wizards
of
in
fun.
7, eh?
Wizards
I
in
think it's
7.
like I think they're oh my gosh, the Wizards caught up. It's like actually 85, 89 right now. They were just down 20.
What did I say? What it brings us to another thing. I didn't put this on the list, but Joel Embiid, he's injured now. He's got Cam. What was the injury again?
Meniscus?
Or meniscus, a knee.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will ask you this: do you think that's going to derail the Sixers' chances of the championship?
Yes. Yes. It's kind of like deja vu for him because I mean he had a similar fall in DC earlier in the year. That time he was out for a month. That doesn't look to be the case this time, luckily. But I mean they can't do anything without him, so you better hope he stays near 100%.
Rolo, do you think the 76ers are kind of screwed now?
Yeah, I mean, Joel Troll or Troel, he it's interesting. I mean, he's such an interesting case because I feel like I mean, a lot of people argue with this, but he can be as good of a playmaker, if not better than someone like Jokic. And we saw that like performance from Jokic last night, and it's like, wow, Jokic really does lead the team. I mean, there's no Jamal Murray. It's just pure Jokic. And I feel like Joel Embiid and like the Sixers system just suits Embiid so well. But when you didn't see that, you saw Haka Simmons, and they looked real vulnerable last time out. So I don't know. It says something that they did not sweep the Wizards here.
Yeah,
Marcus Simmons was pitiful.
it was kind of funny though. I will say I enjoyed it.
I mean,
Now
are you ready for Haka Giannis?
Giannis can shoot his free throws better than Ben Simmons. Let's be honest for a second.
I will see. We'll see in Brooklyn. In the
You,
Barclays
you ready
Center.
to see Hacker Durant? Oh, well.
I can't believe I mean, he's gonna play center for them. I mean, sorry, this is a little off topic, but like
But he's gonna
he's
get destroyed
actually good at center.
against somebody like Giannis.
I mean,
Giannis is gonna have a field day out there with him there.
My thing
yeah,
is, I wouldn't do that if I were the Nets. I think there's a very high chance Katie could get injured doing that against somebody like Giannis driving to the paint every play.
he's a freak.
He's the Greek freak. Now, last thing, I know this also wasn't on the list, but I did want to ask you, being in Boston, are you happy Danny Ainge is gone?
I mean, Danny Ainge, I'm actually pretty sad about that. I mean, this dude made deals as a GM, and I mean, he basically stole the whole Nets future. If you're thinking about about it, I mean, they took JT. I mean, he's always making a competitive Celtics team, and I just gotta respect that. I mean, thank you, Danny Ainge. He's been huge for the Celtics. I mean, I understand it's time to move on, but I mean, I'll miss him for sure.
Yeah, I think all the Celtics fans are going to kind of miss him, but I will say you're in good hands with Brad Stevens.
Yeah.
So it's a win lose here for you guys. You got Brad Stevens making the calls, and you'll get potentially a new head coach coming in, Van Gundy, in my opinion. I think you guys,
Wow.
he'd be great for this team. He runs traditional basketball schemes, dude. He'd run great with the Celtics.
I think he'd be so funny though. I can just see him at the TD Garden. Like I would love to see SVG out there. I mean, that would be hilarious. Oh, one thing on Danny Ainge, I think he got a little bit unlucky. I really feel like Gordon Hayward. I wish Gordon Hayward had that do-over in Boston. He just did not hurt his leg there. I think he could have been such a good player and like could have totally transformed the Celtics.
You also shouldn't have traded Isaiah. Just throwing that out there.
Isaiah's washed, unfortunately.
He wouldn't know. He got put into bad systems after the Celtics.
I mean, he literally is tweeting out. He's still asking the Lakers to pick him up in free agency. I mean, it's the playoffs, man. Get some respect.
I love Isaiah, man. I do love Isaiah.
He's a leprechaun. I love him.
He's a good locker room guy. He's a good veteran, and he's a solid player. He's not like he was in Boston, but he's still, I think, a solid player. You saw him kind of turn up in New Orleans, so hopefully he gets.
I wish he retires in Boston. I hope he retires there.
Oh, he's been tweeting at Boston. He wouldn't mind coming back. Take the hint. Sign him. Give him a 5-year max. I think that'll be fair.
Yeah, it'll sell jerseys for sure. But where are we going next? Are we talking about the Dallas Mavs and the Clippers yet?
Well, we could talk about that. Who doesn't love talking about this subject, actually? So if I'm not mistaken, they're playing again tonight, right? Yes, they are. They're playing at 9 tonight. I have the Mavericks winning the next 2 games. These Mavericks, I had them in 4, then I had them in 5. Now I have them in 6. Please don't make me go to 7, and then please don't make me bow down to the Clippers when they make it out the first round and we don't. That would be terrible for LA, and I would hate that. But
yeah, go ahead.
The Mavs, they have a very solid shot. Luka's had some time to think things over. They've had some time. So the thing is, the Mavericks took the 2-0 lead. Then the Clippers took some time to watch this team, figure out what they need to change. The Mavericks have had their time to watch them and know what to change. Carlisle, I think he's an excellent head coach, and I think he's going to make the adjustments, and you're definitely going to see the impact it has tonight.
I think the Mavs will win tonight, but I'm still going to stick with my Clippers. If any of you guys watched my playoff predictions episode I did with Max, a lot of y'all were against me picking the Clippers to win it all. And while I don't think that's going to happen, I'm still going to stay true to the Clippers to get out of this first round. I like what I saw in the last 2 games. That counter does concern me a bit, but I think the Mavs will take this one. But I think the Clippers are going to win the series. I'm going to go with that.
Pandemic P is not going to win 2 elimination games in a row. But Rolo, what do you think about this Mavs Clippers series? What do you think is going to happen towards the end of this now?
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Pandemic P, it's on him. It's on him to heal up, and it's on him to keep trending up. I mean, last 3 games, he's progressed quite a bit. I mean, they were hating on him. I think in game 3, and I mean that picture of sort of Kawhi postering Maxi Kleber, kicking him out of the club. I mean that became a meme over the next couple of days after they took L's. But I think they're back. They've shut down Luka, at least last game. I mean, if they can do that again, get him whining, get Tingus Pingus the more possessions. That's all the better for the Clippers. And I mean, Paul George has been playing exceptionally well. Reggie Jackson's been balling off the bench, and obviously Kawhi Bot is playing like a consistent robot. I mean, he's killing it. I think they can if they take it tonight, it's gonna be a downhill battle the rest of the way.
No more Pandemic P. No more Pandemic P, Max.
I will continue the Pandemic P till I die. Mainly because he's on the Clippers now, and nobody likes the Clippers. I was really hoping we get to play them, but we're about to get beat in 6 by the Suns. So,
yeah, I think it's absolutely just tragic that the Clippers felt the need to lose to move this to this side of the bracket. I mean, if they lose now in the series, I mean it's just no respect for Tyronn Lue.
Well, let's be honest for a second. If they lost the first round, if both of the LA teams lost first round, the Clippers would get way more shit than we would, and I would love that. I mean, we do have excuses, right? Because this Lakers team has not been healthy for a while. So I don't think we get too much. I think we're going to get, oh God, I'm going to have to delete Twitter for a month. But
I was just about to say, you guys are going to get hate because I feel like You guys were slow to admit the fact that y'all weren't as strong and had injuries. I think you guys all knew it, but you guys were slow to admit it. So
Well,
now
that's what fans should be. That's what fans should be. We should support our team till it's too late.
I will give Laker fans that. They are always very true to their team. You never see very sad Laker fans. They always bring the spirit. So good job for that, Lakers.
Yeah, I'm sure Rolo can agree. I mean, the Lakers are the best team in the NBA's history, right?
I don't know if I would agree with that, but being from Boston as it is, but I do believe that their fan base is the most avid by far, and I think it just shows. Like they have such a high turnover every year. Like they get basically new players coming in, new players leaving, or old faces leaving, but you see that love outside of the Lakers. Like, where did JaVale McGee go this year? The Cavs?
No, he went to the Cavs, and now he's on Denver.
Yeah, I mean, people are still loving JaVale McGee. People are still, I mean, talking about Rajon Rondo. I mean, these guys. I'm really happy that the Lakers fan base is so just fervent in their support. And
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened to Danny Green? We crucified him.
Oh, Deadshot Danny is actually I'm glad he's thriving in Philly.
Yes,
The
but Lakers
High
fans
haters.
took it too far with him. We sent death threats to him and his fiance.
Yeah.
Not me, Lakers fans did. I swear.
We
As in we, I meant Lakers, not me. I would never. But Lakers.
you know who actually should bounce back tonight?
Dwight Howard.
Tim Hardaway.
Tim Hardaway needs to stand up because Pingus won't.
Tim
Luka
Hardaway is
needs
actually
help.
a
Luka
baller,
needs help.
and like he just sort of like he reminds me of almost like a Jason Terry in for the Mavs. And I mean, I think that he could just ball out tonight and it would be a totally different game.
Yeah, well, yes, Luka. If Luka gets that second player stepping up with him, he's fine. The series is over. Because let's be honest, they've won 2 games versus the Clippers, and it's just been all Luka. If Luka gets even an ounce of help, the series is over.
That scares me. Trying to run with my Clippers are gonna win it. That right there, Luka can't get help if the Clippers are gonna win this year. So scary.
Well, I will say this. This will be the last closing statement I have. If the Mavericks get rid of Tingus Pingus and they get a bona fide second player, this Mavericks team's scary. I guarantee you they will. If they get a second star for Luka, they will be in the finals in the next 4 years.
What if they get Dame and Luka Doncic?
They get Dame and Luka, everybody turn off their TVs. The league is over.
It's just gonna be raining threes from half court.
Raining threes. They can make everybody else look great with the assists. Oh, you could sign Michael Jordan, come back playing the league. 60 years old, they'd still win. Go sign Dennis Rodman. He'll average 50 rebounds a game with this team. Oh, that'd be scary. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wrap it up here. Again, huge shout out. Make sure you guys, before I forget, go to your Google Play Store or Apple Store. I'm sorry, I'm an Android user, and download the Take Side app. Rolo, give him a quick rundown of your great app.
Yeah, so essentially 3 years ago, me and my brother started working on this app, and we just basically wanted to make NBA fans better fans. So you really just no betting, no ads, but you can back your favorite team. And we were talking about the loyalty ties, like Max Mamba's legacy host. Follow him right now on Takeside, and you can see him back in the Lakers tonight, and you can clown him for all of his poor takes on the Bucks.
The Bucks are the best team in the league. I will never make a bad take about them. I'm shooting I have 70% right with them, but it's okay. And huge shout out. I'm gonna make this live on the podcast. Cam is the best producer around. She has carried this show behind the scenes for so long. It's time I finally come on the podcast and officially congratulate her in front of everybody. So Cam, I want to say huge thank you for making Mama's Legacy possible.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. But that's going to wrap up today's. And I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow. And even though I'll be on vacation next week, you should have a video dropping every other day. Peace out, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.